On March 28, 2023, Marganne Allen was riding her bike home from work in southeast Salem. Video from that day shows a black pickup truck running a stop sign moments before striking and killing the cyclist. Behind the wheel was DEA Special Agent Samuel Landis, who, according to court documents, was conducting surveillance of a suspected fentanyl dealer. Landis had fallen behind the rest of the surveillance team and was trying to catch up when he allegedly struck Allen on her bicycle.
So I guess that's why we're losing the war on drugs. We've got federal agents who can't walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. In this case, a DEA agent who couldn't drive his unmarked vehicle and keep surveillance on the suspect without running a woman over and killing her.
The testimony at the grand jury was that there was no urgency and that there was no hot pursuit.
After months of delay, Landis was charged with criminally negligent homicide on September 6th in Marion County Circuit Court. But Landis's lawyers asked to have the case moved to a federal court so that they could use a defense of federal immunity.
And so the immunity doctrine says if the person is acting as a federal agent, then they are immune from state prosecution.
U.S. District Judge Michael McShane granted that request in December of last year, moving the case to the district court in Eugene. The Oregon Attorney General's office appealed that decision and today argued in front of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals that the case should stay in state court.
So here we are. If the state's appeal is unsuccessful, this guy, Samuel Landis, is one immunity chess move from walking away from all of this, free and clear. But how did we get here? Landis and the DEA have been behind the scenes from the very beginning, trying to bury this case and act like it didn't happen.
Since Salem PD works closely with the DEA on drug crimes, they handed the case over to Kaiser Police in late March. Then months went by. Michael Baird, who is also a retired Oregon State Trooper who specialized in accident reconstruction, says he's puzzled why the investigation took so long.
Given your experience with Oregon State Police, what was unusual about this crash and the aftermath?
Well, what Marganne's husband told me the night that Salem police came out and notified him that Marganne had been hit by a car or ran into a car and died subsequently at Salem Hospital. They told him that they had clear evidence that the driver of the vehicle had run the stop sign. They told him that right from the get-go, and I thought to myself, well, why wasn't he cited if they had evidence of that?
An attorney for the state of Oregon argued to the appellate judges that running the stop sign wasn't necessary for Landis to do his job as a DEA agent.
You talk about and focus on urgency with legitimate justification, but are you almost suggesting that there needs to be a necessity for him to have run the stop sign?
Yes, definitely. When a federal officer violates state traffic law, their conduct will only be necessary in that circumstance when there is some urgency or emergency that requires them to do so.
Landis's lawyers countered that running the stop sign was perceived as necessary at the time, regardless of how it seems now.
Everybody can say right now that wasn't the right decision. We know that because we know what happened. But what did he know at the time? Was it reasonable, given everything that he knew about the surveillance, about the need to stay in touch with the team, about the dangerousness of this fentanyl dealer? All of that given, was it reasonable? It was a mistake of judgment. We know that. It was a tragedy that happened. But he made that reasonable decision in the context of law enforcement surveillance. Justice
has to be served. The family needs justice, and they also need closure. Before they can begin to move on, they need to know that this chapter is closed. This chapter has been handled, and Marganne's death did not happen with somebody getting off scot-free. You have a young girl, a young boy, and a husband who lost their mother, their wife, and their best friend.